We are back for a new episode of the Fight HQ podcast. Of course, I am Jason Floyd, and finally, my guy, Pete Rogers Jr., back with me. Congratulations, Pete, first off. I think anyone who follows you on social media, they know why I'm saying that. I mean, you look pretty alive right now, so I'm guessing you've got some sleep in you.
Yeah, this baby of ours, he sleeps. So unlike my daughter. Yeah, thank you so much, Jason. Thank you to everybody that reached out to me and everybody a part of the Fight HQ community, and especially for supporting our channel, even though I've been absent for a while. It's been a crazy month and a half. And thank you to Jason for continuing to push out some product out there for you guys and some content in hopes of covering the MMA slates. But I don't feel like I've missed really good slates. I feel like the fights have been pretty low level. So if there was ever a time for me to have an absence from doing the podcast, I think I picked it correctly, because coming back here to UFC 320 with a rematch between Ankalaev and Alex Pereira, I think is the perfect return fight for me to get back on the podcast with my boy Jason Floyd.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look overall fight card, a really nice fight card we're going to have tomorrow night in Las Vegas. Of course, if you haven't watched this live here on a Friday afternoon, just after 2 o'clock Eastern time, the PFL show currently going on ESPN Unlimited. I was telling Pete, man, I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I've been really tempted to place a bet on Paul Hughes just because there's a lot of value there. And, when you start to talk about value in UFC 320, getting right into game theory here, Pete, I think there is a ton of value on the DFS side of this equation.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think the 9,000 range is clearly loaded. Some spots where fighters had more difficult matchups in previous fights and are now in this fight getting a much easier matchup at a very favorable price tag. Just because, I think recency bias, people may be a little bit lower because they, underperformed in their first fight. So all in all, man, I like the 9,000 options a lot, clearly. And I can't always say that, week in and week out. And obviously the main event and co-main event being 2 5-round fights, you got to prioritize both of them, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, it's the price point on the main event really sticks out to me. Just because of, I mean, when I initially saw the betting line for this one, I was like, wow, that's kind of weird. I mean, sitting here on a Friday afternoon, Ankalaev minus 275 and Alex at plus 220, it's like, man, the first fight was close. I mean, very close. And that to me is like, that's like when I was thinking about, man, the value of Alex, the co-main event, I mean, maybe just saying, hey, and chin check him, but like, to me, like, I'll tell you, I was thinking about this right before we connected. A core build for me on DraftKings may be Alex Pereira and Khalil Roundtree Jr.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think the matchup between Khalil Roundtree and 𝗖𝗄 is pivotal for the slate, mainly because it's a 3-round fight, right? So these guys being 15 minutes, high-level kickboxing matchup. I'm interested in the finish equity of 𝗖𝗄, but I think Khalil has really looked good as of late in their past 5. I think that we can say that Khalil's looked a little bit better, right? Like, he's outside the Alex fight, he's been just on a roll. I don't know, like, if Khalil knocks out 𝗖𝗄, I will be very, very surprised. But I think the popularity of that fight in itself is going to make it one of the most popular fights on the slate from an ownership standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about those 2 light heavyweight matchups, and there is going to be a very interested party. I don't know if he's, back home in New Zealand or if he's going to be in Las Vegas, but Carlos Ulberg is going to have an eye on that. And like, to me, if I'm Carlos Ulberg, if Alex wins, you're praying Yuri wins, because then I think he's getting the title shot. If Khalil Roundtree wins and Alex wins, I think they might go to the rematch right now, not waste any time. Ankalaev wins, I think it doesn't matter. Ulberg probably gets that matchup, but like, but when I was looking at that 9K range, just because of, some of those high end options in 9K, there is a ton of leverage in terms of that one. But like, when I look at that 9K range, To me, I think there's two fighters that are not involved in the main event or co-main event that stick out to me. And it's because of what they potentially could do in the grappling side of the aspect of Austin Vanderford and Patchy Mix. Austin Vanderford may be one of my more popular plays tomorrow just because of, yes, Brahima has the BJJ credentials, but this is BJJ versus wrestling. I'm going to take the wrestler more times than not.
I don't blame you when you break it down like that. I still think that there are some unknowns from Vanderford, like inside the UFC, if you want to talk about it. Obviously, we know the skill level that he has from his time in Bellator. But Brahima did just pick up a very, very impressive win over Billy Goff. Nice guillotine. So maybe the jiu-jitsu threats could limit Austin Vanderford, but I mean, if they sat there and they grappled, I would be pretty surprised if Brahima did not get taken down. So I don't blame you there. I don't know if I'm in love with a ton of underdogs, Jason. Like, I mean, like there are some that I like, but it's like ballsy picks. And a fighter in Emin Shabazian is one where just every time that he fights, if it's a massive line, I'm going to get attraction towards his counterpart just because I just don't trust the guy, especially for whatever reason. His matchmaker, I mean, his management team, they just pick matchups against grapplers or wrestlers. It's like, why? Why? It makes no sense to me. But I'm interested to see if you agree or disagree with me on some of these matchups. And I'm really excited to see 𝗪𝗪. I mean, that's a guy that I circled, and I'm going to be pretty confident going into that matchup. But outside of that, I have to have some help from my guy Jason Floyd over there.
Yeah, I'm very interested to hear from our community of those fighters in the 6,000 range. Which ones are you getting to? I can certainly see why you may get the Corey Sandhagen. My only concern about the B is, does he live off his back in that matchup? And while yes, it may go 5 rounds, does he not exactly get that score you want? If you told me 1v1, take Peloton or take Corey, I'm taking Alex 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you because the main event in their first encounter, it was like what, 48-47, and 𝗏𝗏𝘁𝐻 ended up winning. I think the first round was for Pereira and the final round was for Pereira, but the second, third, and fourth, I think, were favored for 𝗏𝗏𝘁𝐻, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't one where like 𝗏𝗏𝘁𝐻 took him down and ragdolled him, and like he did not land takedowns.
No, you didn't get one.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I definitely didn't think that was going to happen. I'm sure that he will land a takedown if he chooses to in this fight, or maybe not. I mean, maybe he was just content to outbox him, and Pereira was just a little tentative to really let his hands go because he was worried about the takedown threat. I mean, in rematches, we tend to favor the person who lost in the first time to make some adjustments to come back, especially if it's a wide line. It is -270 +220. But we'll have to see. I can't wait.
Yeah, it should be a great matchup there. And, there is, I'll say this, and we'll get more of this in a little bit later. There are some of those high 9,000 options that, if you're playing them, I think it's all about leverage in terms of those large field GPPs, but just don't trust the fantasy score upside in terms of that one. Of course, if you want to get access to Pete's algorithm, his link to his Patreon page is in the description of this show. If you're watching us here on YouTube or if you're checking us out on the podcasting platforms, we'll have a DraftKings console, so we'll get that link in the show notes as well. But Pete, let's get right into breaking this one. Of course, the main event will be the rematch. Magomed Ankalaev defending the light heavyweight title against the former champion and 𝐼xe 𝐵HEH comes in here. Price is $7,300 on DK, $15 on FanDuel. Ankalaev $8,900 on DK, $19 on FanDuel. Ankalaev a -275 betting favor in this one, +220. I'll say this. I want to hear your breakdown of this fight. Particularly, I want to hear about the clinch aspect of this fight because I think this could really be a key part of this aspect. But you want to talk about a juicy prop that is sitting out there right now. Alex wins via decision, +1,200.
Yeah, I think, I mean, if any of those judges viewed those rounds slightly different, it could have cashed last time, right? I mean, very, very close fight, and the salaries and the odds don't really reflect it. 8,900 for Ankalaev, 7,300 for Pereira. Um, you know, minus 270 for Ankalaev, plus 220 for Pereira. I do worry about Pereira on his back, but in their first encounter, it didn't happen. So, I mean, I do think that every fight is different. And if Ankalaev does land a takedown, I think we will see a big gap in skill between Ankalaev and Pereira on the mat. I also worry about ground and pound from that position as well, from multiple scenarios, from half guard to side control to mount to having his back. I do worry about Ankalaev getting an advantageous position over Pereira. He doesn't necessarily need one though, right? Like he can just really just pin him against the cage. And, Ankalaev is very, very good at kind of wall installing, just keeping his opponents against the cage for a large majority of the fight, having control time, limiting the power coming back his way from Pereira. And he did a great job neutralizing the death touch of Pereira. And a big thing was, just the fact that Ankalaev is a southpaw, and it gives a lot of righties problems. There's a reason why boxers try to avoid matchups with southpaws as much as possible on their road up through their development. A lot of coaches will need a lot in order to really accept a match with a southpaw, and you saw that be clear as day when the leg kicks, right? Like outside the lead leg kick from Alex Pereira, he can go to the inside of Ankalaev's lead leg, but it's different when you are zapping the calf of your opponent's lead leg. So I think if I was Pereira, right, like I would have him go out southpaw. Why can't you go out southpaw a little bit and chop at the calf of Ankalaev to really immobilize him? Because we have seen Ankalaev, he's super vulnerable to leg kicks. He really is. And that was one thing where I was nervous going into the first fight. But the opposite stances kind of make it a little wonky and weird. And I don't see why Pereira can't continuously switch between inside, outside, really just hammer home the leg kicks and try to limit his time being pinned up against the cage. If you're looking about pace, neither one of these guys are crazy pace fighters. According to my pace rating, 4.83 for Ankalaev, 3.3 for Pereira. The strength of schedule in their past five, which is another piece on my Patreon that I have included a part of the data in the projections. The win percentage of Ankalaev's past five fighters is 67.3, whereas Pereira's sits at 83.85. So Pereira's done some unbelievable things in such a short amount of time. And this is not a fight that I'm willing to plant a flag on and say, undoubtedly, Ankalaev's going to go out there and smoke Alex Pereira, because it was a fight that a lot of people viewed it as 48-47 for Ankalaev. And there are some adjustments to be made. Pereira does have Glover Teixeira to help him out and strategize and develop his weaknesses. So, and then he can land that knockout shot. So this is one where I think it's a little wide. I am very surprised that Ankalaev didn't land any takedowns. I still will be picking Ankalaev, Jason, but I completely hear you if you are on the Pereira side. It's just the minutes won against the cage of pressing his opponents against the cage and neutralizing the power, and actually landing good shots against Alex Pereira, making Pereira tentative. And if Pereira is tentative because he's worried about getting taken down, then Ankalaev's able to win some rounds. And then if Pereira opens up and he starts to bomb on Ankalaev can, change the levels and take him down in the open mat. So I'll be picking Ankalaev, but I think that this is one you need to get to both sides.
My one thought about this fight, Pete, is we've seen 25 minutes of this action, and for the most part, these are low volume guys. I do wonder, will we see one of them kind of try to go out there and have more volume? To me, thinking from a DFS perspective, to me, it's about the value we have in Alex here at 7,300. I don't mind if you want to get to Ankalaev. Don't mind it at all. The question is in the first matchup, as I recall, he was 0 for 12 overall, and I want to say 0 for 6 in the fourth round. in terms of takedowns, I want to say. So, but, obviously, even though Alex did not want to make an excuse after the first one that there was an injury, how is he out there? He's also 38 years old. So you do kind of wonder, is that body, just because of all of the combat sports that he's done, maybe it's wearing down on him. To me, from a DFS perspective, I do like Alex here. From a betting side, the plus 1,200 for Alex win by decision is just so juicy. Just throw a sprinkle on that one there. Overall, I think this probably goes 25 minutes. From a betting side, I probably, if I'm going to bet Ankalaev, I would probably just bet him to win via decision plus 150. Not a great number when you're talking about a decision prop with 25-minute fights, but I'm gonna go Alex in that one. But would not be surprised if Ankalaev goes out there and gets the win. Co-main event, of course, is the bantamweight title being Merab Dvalishvili defending the title against Corey Sandhagen. Dvalishvili 9,300 on DK, $22 on FanDuel. He's a minus 400 betting favorite. Corey Sandhagen is priced at 6,900, $12 on FanDuel, and he is at plus 300. Of course, we have seen Corey Sandhagen go up against one of the training partners of Merab, that being Aljo. We saw how that thing went there, but this is where am I crazy to think this thing's not going 25 minutes? This thing doesn't even go 20 minutes.
Really interesting. I mean, I think that there is a significant gap in skill if the fight hits the mat, and I think it will hit the mat clearly. And like, if you watch Merab just roll jiu-jitsu wise, you see him roll it with Mighty Mouse. You know what I mean? Like Mighty Mouse, Demetrius Johnson, one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time. And I know that Mighty Mouse is far from his prime, but like he's putting Demetrius Johnson in bad positions and submitting him and like with ease. I think that his submission grappling has truly elevated over his reign, and what Merab Dvalishvili is doing is nothing but remarkable. I think that he's really cementing himself as one of the best bantamweights of all time, and I can't question the guy anymore. I just can't. Me sitting there and picking apart a quick clip of Merab getting rocked by Marlon Moraes, and then trying to use that and justify that to pick against him always. Like, I just can't. I mean, the work rate, the cardio, even the chin and the will to win. Like, I can't question this guy's heart at all. Outside of running into a knee, which Corey Sandhagen alluded to, I'm going to put my knee through your face. I think it's great mental warfare to try to stifle or make Merab hesitate. But like, I don't think Merab cares. I think Merab would get hit with that knee, and as long as he's conscious, he's going to push through it. He's going to slam you on your head, and he's going to ground and pound you, or he's going to submit you. And I don't blame you at all, Jason, for having this like sneaky suspicion, like that this one might end, and it might end pretty early, because I think Merab still can show levels that he hasn't reached yet. Like, I think that he can go and ground and pound people brutally, like how Khabib Nurmagomedov used to do it. We know that his submission grappling is there, as I mentioned, and as was shown against the Sean O'Malley fight. And I kind of see a spot where like Corey Sandhagen is good offensively with takedowns and has good sneaky submissions as well, but I think he's going to be at a significant strength disadvantage here in the grappling when Merab gets a hold of him. I think like the power, the strength, the ground and pound, the pace is just going to be way too much. And outside and landing that kill shot, as Corey Sandhagen did against Frankie Edgar, and I just don't see it happening. I just do not see it happening. So I'm going to say that Merab Dvalishvili gets it done, makes it look a lot easier than a lot of people think. For bantamweights, you typically want to stack. I mean, not typically want to stack, but you can make the argument to stack. If it goes 25 minutes, could either one of these guys break the slate or pin them together? Yeah, absolutely. But if you look, Corey Sandhagen, he did not really score well in his fight against Nurmagomedov, and I view Merab as such a more difficult problem than Nurmagomedov. So if you look, you see Corey Sandhagen. What did he score? 5-round fight against Nurmagomedov, 30.6. Corey's good. Corey's unbelievable. But if Merab goes out there and makes it look easy, I think it's just going to add to his legacy. I can't pick against Merab anymore. So Merab is an absolute staple for all of my lineups.
No question about it. I mean, I think in terms of the only reason I would want to maybe get away from Merab would be related to that massive ownership that he's getting there. Yeah. But he very easily could go out there and, because, you know, I mean, this is a guy that we've seen attempt 50 takedowns in a fight, you know, against Jan a couple years ago. I just happened to, you know, go in the Hard Rock app to see if they had the takedown prop up.
Yeah, they don't.
They do.
7.
You're spot on. 6.5.
Yeah,
and it's minus 115 on the over and the under. Like, to me, I'd be scared to play an under Merab 6.5 takedowns. I mean, I'd be absolutely scared. I would say this though: the Corey Sandhagen total significant strikes landed 74.5. Even though it's minus 115 on both sides, I would play the under.
Yeah, if you spend a ton of time on your back, you're not going to be racking up significant points or significant strikes rather. And to kind of go back and talk about my pace rating real quick, this is just to show and shine light on what Merab is doing compared to the rest. His pace rating on my sheet is 13.37. The next closest is 𝗵𝗁𝘁. And we know that 𝗵𝗁𝘁 did not even look great against Mario Bautista. I mean, like, there's nobody near what Merab does. So, I don't see how I could ever pivot away from him.
Yeah, and looking at the props on this one, the prop that does stick out to me would be Merab inside the distance. That's plus 400. I mean, if you want to live a little crazy, the 𝐃𝐬𝐬𝐜 is plus 800. The sub is plus 1,000. Remember, that's how Aljo defeated Sandhagen with the rear naked choke back a couple years ago. But yeah, Merab is definitely the play, and we all know what he can. I mean, he could, if the thing goes 25 minutes, he might get you 140 points.
Oh man, might get you if it goes 25 minutes. I'm not going to cap him. I think the guy could get 200 plus. I'm not even kidding. I really think
literally, if you're playing if you're playing a captain contest, let's just say you were playing 20 lineups. I might have Merab as a captain in 15 of them.
I might have him in 20, bro. I mean, that's ridiculous. If he gets 200, regular points, that's 300 in the I have to have him there.
Yeah, you're not winning the Catholic contest if you're not. Next up, we got light heavyweight matchup. It's Jiří Procházka taking on Khalil Rountree Jr. Procházka, he's priced at $8,500 on DK, $16 on FanDuel. He's a minus 210 betting favorite. Rountree, $7,700 DK, $14 on FanDuel. He's at plus 165. This is another one, Pete, where my overall thoughts of it is, I think this fight is a lot closer than what the DFS and betting lines are.
Yeah, I agree with you. And, just like the main event, right? Like I am picking one way and I have a feeling towards one way, but I'm not going to X out or plant a flag on this particular matchup because they both looked really good. I believe in both of them. There are moments where Jiří Procházka is getting hit a little too often for my liking. And Khalil Rountree is a guy that, beat Dustin Jacoby. And I think I've been salty ever since that, right? Because I don't think I agreed with it. But Rountree has shown development. And not only that, what gym is he from, Jason? You know what I mean? So I can't help but be slightly biased every time that Rountree fights. He's good. He's very good. And for me to say that he's one-dimensional is true, but nobody's really taking him to his weakness. I can't really rely on Jiří Procházka taking him down, incorporating takedowns, looking to submit Khalil Rountree, because why would he do that? That is not the warrior way. That is not the smart decision. So I think this is going to be a kickboxing and Muay Thai fight, and we're going to see Rountree, I would imagine, look to chop at Jiří Procházka's legs because he's shown a susceptibility and a vulnerability in the past to leg kicks. So kind of similar to 𝐒𝐡𝐨𝐰, right? It's almost very, very similar, both matchups of the underdog possesses excellent leg kicks that could stifle and really hurt the favorite in the matchup. It's just, do they go to that? Do they utilize that? if Khalil Roundtree boxes with Uri Prochazka, and that's all he does is just box, I think he's in for a rude awakening that there are levels to this game. If you look at their career win percentage, Uri Prochazka is 3 years younger. His win percentage sits at 86%, whereas Khalil sits at 70%. Khalil is 3 years older, but Yuri has like nearly 40 fights. I mean, the guy's been fighting all the time. Is he past his prime? I'm not so I'm not so sure. But another high-level Muay Thai fighter was able to figure out Yuri Prochazka, and that's Alex Pereira. So I think I think a striker's eye can really develop a game plan to beat Yuri Prochazka, because it's predominantly hands. And if Khalil goes out there as a Thai fighter, I think that he can have some success. However, I think the firepower clearly favors Yuri Prochazka. He could be down, he could be losing, and he has that punch, he has that speed, he has that tenacity where he can turn the tide of a fight with a combination. And that's kind of how I see this going, right? Like early on, I'm expecting Khalil to go out there and stomp at Yuri Prochazka's knee, throw leg kicks, stomp at his hip, kind of piss Yuri Prochazka off, because Yuri's going to think that's disrespectful. And then as the fight goes on, I think we're going to start seeing Khalil fade a little bit and Yuri start to take over. It's just, is it too late? And that's where I don't have a true strong read on the fight. I will be backing Yuri Prochazka, but let me preface this with saying that it's wide. Minus 220, plus 180. I don't agree with the odds. I thought that this was going to be a pick'em, Jason. Truthfully, I thought it was going to be a pick'em. I'm picking Yuri Prochazka. The value is clearly on Roundtree, and this is another one similar to the main event where get to both sides of it. I'm picking Yuri to beat Roundtree, because in my head, Yuri's a different level fighter than Khalil Roundtree. But watch the tape. On paper, the stats don't lie. It's a much closer fight, and Roundtree's not the same fighter he used to be. And Yuri is probably a worse version of what he used to be. So the value's clearly there on Roundtree, but I'm going to be backing Yuri.
Look, both these guys have the common recent opponents in their last two fights being Alex and also being Jamal. And think about the way we viewed Khalil Roundtree pre-Alex fight to where we view him now. I mean, it's just because, I mean, look, I remember after the Alex fight, I was like, has he taken years off his career just with all the shots he's taken? And he comes back, has a great performance against Jamal Hill. I mean, to me, the value is all over Roundtree. My only concern I would have from a DFS perspective is the 3-round nature of the fight. Is that if this thing does go 15 minutes and it's just a striking matchup, if you don't have knockdowns, it's not going to be a great score. That is my only concern about this matchup to me. And I would almost sit there. Whether you like Prochazka or Roundtree, the decision props on both guys, plus 500 for Yuri, plus 550 for Roundtree. I think there's some solid value there if you're looking to go there, but Roundtree is going to be the pick for me. Next up, you've got Youssef Zalal taking on Josh Emmett. Zalal price at 9,400 DK, $19 on FanDuel. He's a minus 475 betting favorite. Josh Emmett, he's at 6,800, $9 on FanDuel, a plus 350 betting underdog. And Pete, I know one of the things that you talk about in terms of what you do over at Patreon, you talk about the age difference and the height and reach. You got an 11-year age gap here.
Yeah, 11 years. 11 years younger is Youssef Zalal, 6 inches in the height plus reach department. I'm done backing Josh Emmett. I could just tell you. And he throws a ton of volume, but he misses a lot. I mean, his striking accuracy sits at 35%. That's terrible. But he throws 10 to hopefully land one. And when he lands that one, a lot of people go out. Bryce Mitchell, other fighters in the past as well. But I think a guy in Youssef Zalal, this is clearly the Matador versus the Bull. And I think that Youssef Zalal will be setting traps the entire time. His footwork is a great way for him to set traps. He'll be shuffling in one direction, then he'll plant his feet and he'll throw a strong cross. He will dip down to make you hunch down, then he'll throw a knee up the middle or an uppercut. There's going to be so many traps set here that I think that Yusuf Zalal is just going to be 1, 2, 3 steps ahead of Josh Emmett, and we're going to say, man, Emmett looks slow, or Emmett is missing, or Emmett is bloodied up, and this could be a situation where, like, Emmett still has it. I don't think so. I just don't. I think Zalal's on such a heater right now. He's one of these guys that I never thought should have been cut from the UFC, was outside the UFC, developed himself even to a higher degree with his wrestling and his grappling. And now that he's in the UFC, I mean, it's just like all systems go. And I legitimately think that this kid's going to be within the top 10 for a pretty long time. The only thing is that he doesn't have like the danger factor to him outside of submissions. But I think in a matchup where a guy is so reckless and hittable, and I think that there's going to be a significant speed disadvantage and timing disadvantage, that I think that Zalal can actually hurt Josh Emmett. And whether he ends up hitting him with a shot that stuns and maybe rocks or drops Josh Emmett, and it results in a TKO finish or a submission finish, I think it's possible in a matchup like this when there's such a difference in youth, such a difference in height and reach, timing. It's just a bad stylistic matchup for Josh Emmett here. I think everybody, when you see the 9,400 price tag, the minus 470 on Zalal, like, it's like, oh God, man, like, he's just not a DFS producer. I don't see him out wrestling, Josh Emmett, but he would have to get a finish to pay off this price tag. And if history has shown us anything, that he's not a finisher. But I just think that the matchup itself could possibly boost the likelihood of a finish. So for DFS, I probably would stay away from Zalal for most of my lineups, because I just think, like, I would much rather Merab at 9,300. But for betting, I wouldn't mind sprinkling on some of these round finish props just to get a little bit more out of that minus 470.
Yeah, no, I'm with you in terms of that. Yeah, it's when I think of Yusuf Zalal, and I know we've talked about this a lot. Is, to me, he's just a guy who got to the UFC a little too early. And, and look, and I get it why fighters do that. I totally get it. To me, I just, the price tag and what the ceiling may be for him, I just don't know if that's going to work out. And that's why I said I think he's one of those guys that if you're rostering him, to me, it is about going out there and getting leverage on the field, because he's just not going to have a ton of ownership in terms of this one. I mean, look, if this tells you anything where we sit on the betting lines and we look at the props, he's minus 155 to win via decision. I think it kind of tells you where the gambling community think this one's going to go there. And I'm with you, Pete, about, I'm just out on Josh Emmett at this point. I mean, I just think that we're at the end of this. And this is, to me, this is old school Joe Silva matchmaking of, you've got the guy that you're trying to develop in terms of Yusuf Zalal, and now you got the aging veteran in Josh Emmett. I think Zalal will get the job done here. And I think it's likely via decision. I just, at 9,400, I need 100 points. And I don't know if there's really a way for him to get to 100 points in terms of this one, but we'll see how this one goes there. Of course, if you do have any questions, you can line those up in the chat. We'll get to them. I know we'll get to your question a little bit later on the show, because the second part of your question is in terms of a fight we haven't started to break down quite yet. Next up, we got Joe Piper taking on 𝗵𝗫. Joe is A700 on DK, $17 on FanDuel, minus 260 betting favorite. 𝗵𝗫, he is at 7,500 on DK, $13 on FanDuel, and plus 210. Did catch a little bit of Joe Piper's media earlier in this week, and the thing that really kind of stuck out to me is he's talked about that this is a matchup that was previously offered to him, but really wasn't interested in it, and it was primarily just because of a rankings aspect.
Yeah, I'm interested in this fight, right? Like, 𝗵𝗫 has a ton of experience, and they both have the same exact career win percentage, sitting at 82.35%. I think that 𝗵𝗫 and Piper are both pretty physical for the division, pretty big. Piper has six years on 𝗵𝗫, and 𝗵𝗫 has 3 inches in the height plus reach department. The strength of schedule for the last 5 favors 𝗵𝗫. but mainly because he's lost to some pretty good fighters. Sits at 76%, whereas Piper sits at 66%. But I think that Piper is clearly more dangerous than Magomedov. Magomedov is, I still consider him a gasser. And the only reason why I think that people may not is because he's been in the driver's seat in a lot of his fights recently. But if he's on the receiving end, you can see that gas tank really deplete, and it happens rapidly. I think the overall striking of Magomedov is better than Piper, but the hands of Piper significantly outweigh anything Magomedov has to offer. Magomedov is dangerous, but I think that Piper legitimately hits like one of the hardest fighters out there. And I think that Piper's wrestling and grappling is pretty underrated, or it has developed from where it was at one time. I mean, on the Contender Series with Dustin Stoltzfus slamming him on his shoulder, that Piper has changed a lot from then, and the whole team at Marquez BJJ is just completely, they're on another level. So it's hard for me to not back Piper here, and this is how I see the fight going. Magomedov and Piper are exchanging in round one. Magomedov is throwing some kicks, trying to chop at the legs of Piper. Recognizes Piper hits like a truck, and he's the one that's going to try wrestling Piper. And he's going to wrestle. May have some success. Piper starts to defend a little bit more. Round one expires. Round two, round three. That's where I think things get interesting, and that's where I see a Piper finish coming. I don't see this going 15 minutes. I see Piper pouring on the pressure as Magomedov starts to fade. And I know that there are plenty of people listening to this right now saying Piper's got bad cardio too. I mean, he did have somewhat of a cardio collapse in a 5-round fight against Jack Hermanson. But since then, I mean, like I think Piper has solid cardio, and he definitely has better cardio than Magomedov. I would be significantly surprised if Magomedov is out here pace pushing Piper for 15 minutes. I just don't see it. So give me Piper in round two or round three. I think he puts it on Magomedov. We've seen Magomedov quit. Granted, it was against Sean Strickland, but I still think that Piper can do the same thing and get Magomedov out of there. So not an underdog that I'm in love with for Magomedov, because I just don't see him lasting 15 minutes without getting finished. And I just don't think the wrestling is significantly better than Piper, where he's going to have his way in one area or not. So give me Piper as a late 2 or late 3 finish. But at 8,700 and as a minus 250 favorite, I'm not sure what to do with it. I mean, I'm going to play him. I'm going to play him because like the mid range of 8,000s, like it's not like I'm in love with it, but I wish it was a little cheaper. Just because he's low volume, and then he could get a finish in round two or round three, and now we're looking at less than 80 points. You know what I mean? So, but give me Piper 8,700.
Yeah, I mean, I think Joe Pyfer is going to get the job done here. In terms of, the props, the plus 145 wins by TKO KO. You get a little better number than saying just inside distance, which is minus 110 in terms of that one. Then we got Gauthier and Vines. Gauthier, of course, initially supposed to take on Ozzy Diaz in the spot. Vines took this fight. I want to say he took this fight on Saturday or Sunday, I want to say.
Yep.
Regional fighter getting his opportunity in the UFC here. Gauthier price at 98 on DK, $23 on FanDuel. Not a lot of books have lines out there, but FanDuel did one have out there at minus 1,800 Vines. Price of 6,400 DK, $7 on FanDuel, plus 880. And Pete, when I started looking in the Vines, the first thing that really just stuck out to me was the competition.
Yeah, competition's not good. But also, I mean, 𝗂𝗏𝐁𝗏 competition's not good either in his past 5. But Vines has been knocked out before, and he's been knocked out 3 times. And I don't like seeing that as a short notice replacement going up against 𝗂𝗏𝗁, who is like the closest thing to a Terminator that we have right now. He's like literally the power of Francis Ngannou, and the only blemish on his record, and the only concern I have is if he gets taken down, or if he gets his back taken, or he's in a compromising grappling scenario. But his hips seem to be strong. His power is great. He comes from a good camp. So all things to develop him slowly but surely. And I don't think Vines is the guy to come in here and as a plus 900 underdog upset the unbelievable 𝗃𝗃 as a minus 1800 favorite at 9,800. Vines is a BJJ black belt, so let's hope that Gauthier doesn't get put in a compromising situation. If you're going to play Vines, you better just play via submission because there's no other way he's going to win. And I think that Gauthier clearly goes out here and knocks him out in round one. And the reason I like Gauthier a lot is because I legitimately think that he's live for a quick win bonus. Like, quick win bonus. In 1 minute, I think it's over. I think that he's going to go out there, put it on Vines early. Vines going to come out there with nervous energy and get finished. The guy's been knocked out 3 times. I believe it's all in round one. Let me confirm with that.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a recipe for a disaster. Vines should be shooting. The only thing is, like, at 9,800, if it's not a quick win bonus and there's only one knockdown, does he pay off the price tag? And it's just like, you want a guy to have crazy power, but not too much where they sleep people in single shots. That's why, like, heavyweights, you can always count on them to get around 100 points, but you're not usually going to get multiple knockdowns. I'm picking Gauthier in a lot of lineups. I don't even care what the price is. It's crazy value for somebody who's minus 1,800. So we can move on. Gauthier is going to win.
I'm glad you mentioned a quick win bonus, because that was something that was on my mind, especially the fact that when you look at the last time that Vines did lose, he lost in 26 seconds. But yeah, just the competition, this is, look, totally understand why he takes the fight. You take this fight on short notice, and as long as you make weight, which he did. Only one fighter missed weight. That'd be 𝐼𝐭 𝐶𝐬, which I know that was someone you're definitely paying attention to there. But yeah, definitely Gauthier is a pick there. Then we got 𝗵𝗁 taking on Andre Muniz. 𝗵𝗁 priced at 9,100 DK, $19 on FanDuel, minus 325 betting favorite. Muniz priced at 7,100 DK, $10 on FanDuel, and plus 240. And you talk about different chapters in a fighter's career, Pete. Like, to me, chapter 1 is 𝗵𝗁 in California. Chapter 2 has been since he's moved his training to Vegas.
Yeah, I still just don't trust the guy. I'm sorry. I know that he's looked better. I just don't trust him. And the reason I don't trust him is because I just hate the matchmaking that his management team is doing for him. Because it's not even him. Maybe it's him. Maybe it's him trying to prove something. But, like, there's no reason to be fighting these guys that have such a grappling and danger to you on the mat. I mean, like, Andre Muniz just fought 𝗃𝗏 and got smoked before it even hit the mat. But 𝗃𝗏 has great wrestling to stifle any attempts that Andre Muniz has. You want to know who also has pretty good wrestling and grappling? The guy that Andre Muniz just beat, Jun Young Park. And, I mean, like, if Jun Young Park and 𝗵𝗁 fight, I probably picking against 𝗵𝗁. I mean, this is the same guy. Jun Young Park beat Ismail Naurdiev, Brad Tavares, Albert Duraev. I mean, like, Eric Anders. There's so many different people that Jun Young Park has beaten. And Andre Muniz went out there and had a ton of takedowns against them. I mean, he scored 117 points, had 11 takedowns, nearly 10 minutes of control time. And I just view Park's skill on the mat and in the wrestling department more than 𝗵𝗁's. And I know that's like MMA math type of thinking, but when I already have concerns about a big favorite or concerns about a fighter, and now I see somebody that your opponent has beaten, and I view them better, it's hard for me not to want to get to a plus 260, 7,100 Andre Muniz. I get it. Muniz is going to get smoked on the feet as long as it's standing. And, he's a jiu-jitsu guy, so he definitely does not have the best takedowns, but I've seen worse. And what he can do is he can be relentless with it where it taxes 𝗵𝗁. 𝗵𝗁 better hope he knocks him out in round 1. Because if he doesn't, I just feel like, the guy in Andre Muniz who broke Jacare Souza's arm, if he latches up a submission, I don't think that Edmond is wise or skilled enough to defend it. I just don't. But on the in-betweens is where, like, Edmond can have success. I mean, Paul Craig, he's a jiu-jitsu guy, pretty good jiu-jitsu, been pretty savvy on the ground in all areas, was able to, stifle, defend, and encounter Muniz's attempts, and then he incorporated ground and pound, and he beat the shit out of him. And 𝗵𝗁𝘁𝗲 can go out there and replicate that and do that, sure. But I'm not so confident in a minus 300. Minus 150, minus 175, okay. But you kind of got me lost here at this minus 325. So, maybe Edmund goes out there and he looks spectacular. Cool. Then I'm happy that, like, he's finally started to patch the holes that, have plagued them. I mean, like, Anthony Hernandez, granted it's Anthony Hernandez, but still in moments of that fight, Derek Brunson. I mean, there's so many times that we've seen just 𝗁𝗏𝘁𝑍 get smoked on the ground that it's hard for me not to get to Muniz. So guess what? I'm picking Muniz here. I just think it's too wide for me to ignore. But regardless, I kind of have this fight circled. I think it's either 𝗁𝗏𝘁𝑍 finishes him early, or Muniz just really taxes 𝗁𝗏𝘁𝑍 and puts up a hell of a score. So this matchup's going to be a priority for me in like my, in the sims, the stochastic sims, because I'm going to probably, use them this weekend for a big pay-per-view. I'm going to smash this fight, both the favorite in 𝗁𝗏𝘁𝑍 and the underdog of Muniz.
I'm not a Muniz guy.
Really? That's okay. Are you a this fight guy though? Like, you want this fight?
To me, it's rostering 𝗁𝗏𝘁𝑍 and move on.
Really? Okay. I just don't think I think he's just such a hype machine. For what? I don't get it.
I think the one thing when I've listened to interviews with him, since he's made that move, you can really see that the fight IQ has changed a lot of how he views a fight game, and I think he gets the job done here. And I think he's going to finish Muniz.
He should.
Yeah.
Keep it standing. But I'm just watch. He goes out there and he shoots a takedown or something stupid. like I don't know, man.
But by the way, I mentioned this on my podcast yesterday because I know we talked about your favorite gym, Syndicate MMA, a lot. I have an idea for PFL.
What?
You do a card in Las Vegas. Team Syndicate versus Team Extreme Couture.
Yeah. I mean, I've thought about that too. Yeah. I mean, it's literally like the American Top Team against the Black Zillions back in the day. Remember that? Like, that was crazy.
Oh, yeah. It's something we talked about yesterday because how many people actually realize this? Hey, how many people who are watching us live know that you have to have an ESPN Unlimited subscription?
Guess what?
Not a ESPN Plus subscription to watch this PFL event that's going on right now.
Yeah, make it more difficult for people to freaking know how to watch it. That's great, because I'm over here smashing my phone, like, trying to watch it. I'm like, what is it saying? I don't have a subscription, and I don't understand. I have every paid thing in the world. Now I need something else. So when UFC's gone from ESPN, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be out.
Yeah, we were having that conversation yesterday on the podcast about, will you keep your, I have upgraded to ESPN Unlimited.
I don't even know what that is, Jason. What the hell
so
is
basically, it gets you everything on ESPN. Nothing's blacked out.
ESPN Plus?
Yeah. So ESPN Plus is going to be rebranded as ESPN Select.
Oh, come on, man. Change the name. Make me feel like I'm getting a newer product. It's the same shit.
I'm giving you a brain aneurysm right here. You're like, oh, God, I can't do this.
Yeah, get me off this.
All right, let's move on to the next matchup. You got 𝗲𝗏𝘁𝘀 taking on Chris 𝗂𝗏𝘁. 𝗲𝗏𝘁𝘀 priced at $9,500 DK, $20 on FanDuel. He minus 525 betting favorite. Chris 𝗂𝗏𝘁, he's priced at $6,700, $9 on FanDuel, plus 375. Pete, I got this question. How good do you think 𝗲𝗏𝘁𝘀 is at stopping leg kicks?
Yeah, I think that he needs to be, on his game to stop those leg kicks, because what 𝗂𝗏𝘁 is doing. And he's just going to chop, 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 and he's going to dance. And in wins, he's going to score 50 points. And he's okay with giving a round. He just, in his mind, I just need to win two. And I think that this 𝗲𝗏𝘁𝘀 is good because he not only can strike pretty well, he's got 6 years younger than 𝗂𝗏𝘁, 3 inches in height and reach department. He mixes it up, Jason. That's what I like, right? Like, he does not just strike. He goes out there and he's pretty takedown focused, which I think is the perfect way to get rid of 𝗂𝗏𝘁. Quit playing this striking, dance around, pitter-patter type of match. Go out there, implement your 3.97 takedowns per 15 minutes with 44% accuracy. Means you're attempting 9.02. attempt those takedowns against Gutierrez. You get one, you're going to stall him out for the rest of the round. You're going to back take him. You're going to, control him for the rest of the round. I think that 𝗏𝗁 is a legitimate, easy win here. I just think, like, if he kickboxes, he's an idiot. And a lot of times, like, these guys, it's fighting, right? Like, I've been an idiot plenty of times. We all have. It's the fight game. You make bad decisions. But I think that this 𝗏𝗁's really good. And his grappling skill set, I think, is significantly better than Gutierrez. And that's the way I would approach it as a coach, saying, 𝗏𝗁, quit striking with this guy. Strike just enough to clinch with him, and then just, work your magic, because I really think that he can get him out of there, Jason. I really do think that this 𝗏𝗁 can get rid of Gutierrez. So 9,500, I'd much rather get to him than Youssef Zalal, personally, just because I think Youssef Zalal is going to have to be on his P's and Q's to not get knocked out by the 35% accuracy Josh Emmett swinging for the bleachers.
I think that's your favorite number of the show this week, 35.
Yeah, 35.
By the way, 𝗏𝗁 wins inside the distance plus 300.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. When I think Gutierrez, I just think of leg kicks. Next up, we got a matchup that you talked about a little bit earlier. You taking on Santos. You priced 700 DK, $14 on FanDuel. He's a plus 125 betting favorite. I have a feeling he may be a very popular betting play in our community. Santos, he's priced at 8,300, $15 on FanDuel, and he's a minus 155 favorite.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel Santos is good. He's really good. Willie Cat came through for us last time against Lee, priced at 8,300. And a lot of people were on the opposite side. I wasn't. And the reason I wasn't is because I had a feeling that he was going to throw good combinations, but we had such questions about the grappling. And this matchup is similar in a way, right? But I don't view Lee as dangerous as Ju Sang Yu. Ju Sang Yu legitimately looked so damn good, and I know small sample size, strength of schedule not the greatest. 𝗏𝗂 not really great at all. Very violent, very volatile. But Ju Sang Yu hit him with such a gorgeous counter shot that it looked effortless. And he hit him with, like, it looked to not even be a powerful shot. And that's why I really like this kid, because it's clean, it's timing, it's precision. A lot of people put oomph behind everything when you don't need to. Everybody has an off switch. You just got to find it. And I think that Ju Sang Yu, being a legitimate undefeated prospect, being Zombie Jr., as he wants to be called or known as, I think this is probably the last time we're going to get him as an underdog, unless he gets completely fraud checked by Daniel Willie Cat Santos. But I just don't think so, because we've seen Santos take a ton of damage and get hit a lot. And, he's been able to fight through it. And if you gas yourself out, he's coming back round 2 or round 3 to come kick your ass. Not too long ago, Castaneda, we saw how that fight was going, and then he turned the tide. Johnny Munoz, not really threatening on the feet. And Lee, like we mentioned, he was smart in that situation, and the gap in skill on the ground was significant. Against Johnny Munoz, he had 10 minutes of control time, mainly because Munoz is a jiu-jitsu guy, wants to be on his back, wants to threaten from his back. Lee spent 6 minutes on his back. That's my one worry here, is that there are some unknowns, and that the regional tape of Ju Sang Yu early on, where you'd say, oh man, we could take this guy down, or we could possibly expose him. I just think the way that Willie Cat Santos fights, he's going to get hit a lot early, and I just don't know if he's going to be able to take those shots. I think that we're going to see a Ju Sang Yu knockout, truthfully. But the price tag's awesome on both of these guys. Willie Cat Santos, 8,300 for his past fight against Lee. He's 8,300 again. Ju Sang Yu was 9,500 against 𝗏𝗂. And I think this is just, the line is close because there's some respect on Willie Cat Santos. But I legitimately think that this kid is good. So give me Ju Sang Yu.
Yeah, when you look at that wins via TKO, KO, that's plus 400. It's plus 2,000 win by submission or plus 350 to win inside the distance. So maybe it depends on how much you want to live out there in terms of that one. Next up, we got 𝐵𝐶 Chiasson taking on 𝗂𝐗 Santos. Chiasson did miss weight earlier on her first attempt at 137.5. We have seen the weigh-in, her battle with the scale. This is not the first time we've seen this happen with her. She's priced at 𝐴600, $16 on FanDuel. She's minus 200 on the betting line. For 𝗂𝐗 Santos, she is 7,600 on DK. $13 on FanDuel, and she is at plus 155, Pete.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man, it's quite disappointing that 𝗲𝐶 Chiasson is out here missing weight when she's ranked pretty high. You know what I mean? Like 𝗂𝐗 Santos, this is a step down in competition from what 𝗲𝐶 Chiasson has fought. Bueno Silva, Ketlen Vieira, and now 𝗂𝐗 Santos is tough, but when the UFC gives you an easy matchup or an easier matchup, you don't want to kind of spit in their face by missing weight and looking unprofessional and putting a bad look on just everything. And it could be a strategic move where she wants to be a weight bully. We do have 𝗲𝐶 Chiasson as a pretty big fighter compared to 𝗂𝐗 Santos. And I remember with, optics, I view 𝗂𝐗 Santos as a big fighter. But according to the stat sheet, we got 𝗲𝐶 Chiasson 1 year younger, and 𝗲𝐶 has 9 inches in the height plus reach department. That's significant, Jason. That is very, very significant. And a fighter in 𝗂𝐗 Santos really likes to pin her opponents against the cage, wall and stall, knee, clinch fight, will land a takedown or two. 𝗲𝐶 does that as well, but she's far more dangerous and she's bigger. So I just don't think that she's going to get bullied against the cage. 𝗲𝐶 just went against Ketlen Vieira, who is a much higher degree bullier than 𝗂𝐗 Santos. So I think that this is a nice spot for 𝗲𝐶 to get back in the win column. But it is women's MMA, and also could the weight miss be due to an illness, be due to an injury, be due to lack of motivation? 𝗂𝐗 seemed pissed off, and I don't blame her at all. So I will personally be rooting for 𝗂𝐗 Santos to go out there because I despise people that miss weight, especially when you're a repeat offender with it. And I just don't like it. Move up. There's no reason. And I think that 𝗲𝐶 is going to go out here and put those extra pounds to work and put together a very solid performance. But I wouldn't be crossing off 𝗂𝐗 Santos because you just never know when it comes to a weight miss.
Yeah, I'm with you in terms of that one. And, and 𝗲𝐶's just one of those fighters that's always been, very tough to trust in terms of that one. Next up, I've got a matchup between 𝗵𝐺 Mix and Jacob. Jacob making his UFC debut. He's plus 240, 7,200 DK, $10 on FanDuel. 𝗵𝐺 Mix, second fight in the UFC, priced at $9,000, $18 on FanDuel, minus 325 betting favorite. And, man, I'm a big 𝗵𝐺 Mix guy, and I feel like this is the get-right fight.
Yeah, I think this is the get-right fight, and, it's interesting because he's only a minus 310 favorite. I mean, 𝗏𝗏𝐿𝐴𝐶, if you watch his regional tape, he's going to put himself exactly where 𝗵𝐺 Mix wants to fight. He's going to go out there and he's going to clinch. He's going to try to take 𝗵𝐺 Mix down even because he has so much belief in his submission grappling. And I just think that there are levels, right? Like international grappling versus American wrestling and grappling. We're going to see what 𝗵𝐺 Mix is made out of, and we're going to see the true level of 𝗵𝐺 Mix, who dominated in Bellator. And I think that he's very easily going to have his way with 𝗏𝗏𝐿𝐴𝐶 here. 𝗏𝗏𝐿𝐴𝐶's been, he's very sneaky. He likes to jump guillotines. He likes to go triangles. He likes to take the back and really put on pressure in the grappling. So from a fan standpoint, man, I'm going to kick my feet back up, put some popcorn in the microwave, and then just, hope that these guys get to grapple with each other because I want to see some excellent skill displayed under the lights. But how I see this going is maybe 𝗏𝗏𝐿𝐴𝐶 surprises people. He takes down 𝗵𝐺 Mix, and then we're like, oh boy, that was a mistake. 𝗵𝐺's big. He's sitting there reversing position. He's threatening with a choke. He's starting to ground and pound. He's, playing to the crowd, and we're saying to ourselves, 9,000? That's all 𝗵𝐺 Mix was? He was 9,000 against a newcomer? Yeah, I think 𝗵𝐺 Mix, if he goes out there and wins a decision, I'm so disappointed. If I'm Dana White, I'm disappointed. I think if I'm the matchmakers, I'm disappointed, and I'm saying, dude, that ain't enough. We just brought him in for you. You got to go out there and make a statement. The only worry is if like Whitlock shoots in a takedown, takes down 𝗵𝗵𝘁 then guillotines him, and there's no other scores. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we're going to see a 𝗵𝗵𝘁 finish pretty early.
Yeah, I like 𝗵𝗵𝘁 in this equation, and I just feel like this is what the UFC does, man. A Bellator PFL fighter comes in, they usually don't give them an easy fight in their first one, then the second one they give more of that matchup that's going to be favorable for them. Next up, you got Soriano take on 𝗵𝗁𝘁. 𝗵𝗁𝘁 is priced at 7,400 DK, $11 on FanDuel, a plus 260 betting underdog. For 𝗵𝗁𝘁, he is at 8,800 on DK, $17 on FanDuel, minus 350 betting favorite. And man, Pete, I'm like, is 𝗵𝗁𝘁 Soriano the sneaky takedown artist of the week?
Yeah, I mean, he should, right? Like we saw what Austin Vanderford did to Nikolai 𝗵𝗁𝘁. The problem is like I just don't trust 𝗵𝗁𝘁 Soriano. I'm picking 𝗵𝗁𝘁 Soriano because I don't think that he loses to this level fighter. I don't think 𝗵𝗁𝘁's all that good. I just don't. I think that on the feet, we have seen him in there against some heavy hitters, so we know that he can take a shot and that he can absorb damage. He can also threaten as well, but his stature, he's very stiff. His grappling is lacking as Vanderford styled on him. Soriano can hit him with a big shot, knock him out. Also, with his wrestling, can go out there and just completely manhandle him. So, yeah, I like 𝗵𝗁𝘁 Soriano. It's just sometimes we have seen him get tired, right? And if he's getting tired, I worry a little bit. So I'm going to say 𝗵𝗁𝘁 Soriano goes out there with a good game plan under Eric Nicksick and Extreme Couture and puts together a complete performance. But I think he's a guy that should be capped at like minus 200, because anytime you start putting too much in his favor, he seems to drop the ball a little bit. So 𝗵𝗁𝘁 Soriano, 8,800, should not lose to 𝗵𝗁𝘁. Should not. But if this is a 15-minute kickboxing fight and he doesn't knock out 𝗵𝗁𝘁, 𝗵𝗁𝘁 can work his way in just because he's a tough guy and he's pretty stubborn. So give me Soriano, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's an upset.
Yeah, I like Soriano on this spot. I just think that, if he does go that takedown route, it should be there for him to take this one down. Next up, we got Vanderford taking on Brahima. Vanderford priced at 9,200 DK, $18 on FanDuel. He's a minus 300 betting favorite. Brahima, he is at 7,000 on DK, $11 on FanDuel, plus 240. This is wrestling versus BJJ, Pete.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what though, Jason, if they're forced to strike, I think I like Brahima striking a little bit more than I like Austin Vanderford. So, but the issue is how long is it actually striking? I'm willing to take some shots on Brahima. I really am, because I think that Vanderford's very good. His wrestling's really good. But if he's stuck striking, we've seen him get hurt, get rocked, get hurt, get knocked down. How's his submission defense? Probably pretty good. He's been training an American Top Team forever. And in the battle of jiu-jitsu versus wrestling, should always pick the wrestler. But there is a small sample size, right? Like, Brahima's been in the UFC for a little bit. He is 3 years younger. He has that experience. I thought Vanderford looked excellent in his first fight. But I'm willing to increase my exposure levels to Brahima. And honestly, I kind of want to pick him as an underdog, and I know you're on the other side. I think I am going to pick Brahima just because I don't like any other underdogs, and I really can see a path to him hurting Vanderford. He trains with Belal Muhammad a lot. He's been putting in a ton of work with Mike Valley Flow striking. I'm going to do it, Jason. I know you're on the other side. I respect it, and I think regardless, the matchup is good for Vanderford, but I still have some questions, and I think Brahima's slick. So give me Ramiz as an upset here. At 7,000.
Yeah, I was just looking at to see if my book might have had a takedown prop on Vanderford. They don't, which obviously usually with the fights early on. To me, it's about. I'm glad you mentioned about the issues that Vanderford's had with strikers. The one difference though is those are 85, not 70.
Yeah.
To me, he is a 170-pound fighter. He's not a 185-pound fighter. And that to me is where we really haven't seen those chin issues at 170 that we have seen at 185 pounds. Their opening fight of the night is Veronica Hardy taking on Bogdan Walker. Hardy 9,600 on DK, $21 on FanDuel. She is a minus 750 betting favorite. Walker price 6,600 on DK, $7 on FanDuel, and she is at plus 525. Pete.
Yeah, I mean, this is Hardy all day. I mean, Hardy has she's struggled in the physicality department against certain fighters who can muscle her around because she's not the largest fighter. And she doesn't put stamps on fights. She kind of pitter patters her way to decisions. This one though, I think that there's levels. I just don't think that Brogan Walker's any good. She got absolutely smoked against Juliana Miller. Then she lost to Lucindo. She doesn't go for takedowns. She likes to strike. She's not going to be the better striker here against the elusive and tricky Veronica Hardy. And this is one where we saw Veronica Hardy. Is that Juliana Miller? Hold on one second. We saw her go to the takedown well in the past where she landed 4 takedowns against Miller. I believe that is Juliana Miller. The same person that absolutely smoked Brogan Walker. So, I mean, it is Juliana Miller. Yeah. So this is a situation where I think the public and myself and you, we see 9,600. We go, how the hell is she that favored? It is women's MMA. Anything can happen. But if you go and you look at these stats, why is it that wide? 11% takedown defense rating for Brogan Walker. Oh my God, Jason. This is the sneaky takedown city option of the card. And I don't think anybody's going to want to do it. And you know, you have the tendency of going 15 minutes. Veronica Hardy does. This could either lead to a quicker finish, or it could lead to multiple takedowns because Dan Hardy is, you know, her husband. He's so smart. He's a strategist. You don't think that he knows Brogan Walker has 11% takedown defense? I mean, it's pretty obvious they're going to develop a game plan to go out there and expose her weakness. And now that I talked about it and it's the first fight of the night, do I want to do it? I might actually make a stand and try to do it. And it's women's MMA with one of the highest price tags I can remember and very low level fight. But that 11% is terrible. It is. I don't even know. That's probably the worst. I mean, at that point, you got 0% takedown defense, right? Like, goodness gracious. Yeah. So, yeah, I think Veronica Hardy is a very sneaky play because nobody's going to want to play her at 9,600. If they do, and the ownership is there, I would be surprised.
There is no ownership there.
Hello, you might population one. Me, I'm going to have her. All right.
I'll say Dan Hardy is someone in our sport that you might love him, you might hate him, but the guy understands this sport. I mean, he's great at breaking down fights. I'm sure he has probably told his wife, "You are going to take her ass down."
11%. Juliana Miller. Let me pull this up. Juliana Miller took down Brogan Walker and beat the hell out of her. I remember this. Let me see this. I got to see the stats on this. 4 times and finished her in the 3rd round. She took her down 4 of 4 times, had 10 minutes of control time, finished her in the 3rd round. And Veronica Hardy took down Juliana Miller 4 times and had 7 minutes of control time. So if Miller did that to Walker, what the hell is Hardy going to do?
Oh, I'm with you. Yeah.
Veronica 𝗛𝗏. She's going to go out there and that's what I'm rooting for.
All right, let's get into our straight up fight picks before you get into answering some listener questions to wrap up the show. Main event, give me underdog number 1. I'm going to say Alex regains the title.
Interesting. I'm going to go 𝗛𝗏.
I'll go Merab.
Merab, definitely.
Give me underdog number 2 and Khalil Roundtree Jr.
I don't blame you at all. I'm going to go 𝗫𝗄𝗓, though.
Zalal.
Zalal, definitely.
Pfeiffer.
Gautier.
Give me Shabazian.
I said it earlier. I might as well stick with it. Muniz, but the fight in general.
I'll go Basharat.
𝗲𝗁, definitely.
I'll go underdog number 3, and you?
Yep, you.
I'm going to go underdog number 4, Yana Santos.
Oh, I like the ballsy pick. I'm going to go 𝐼cy Chiasson. I do not blame you, though.
Give me Mix.
Mix, definitely.
Soriano. Vanderford.
I'm going to go Brahima.
And Walker.
You're picking Walker over Hardy?
Oh, excuse me. Hardy.
Okay. I mean, I was going to say, Jason, I just spent 10 minutes talking about Veronica Hardy. You're really going to do that?
No.
Veronica Hardy for me as well.
That's a Jason screw up there. That's a Jason screw up there. Let's get the questions. Best leverage play. It may be Veronica Hardy.
Yeah. Let's do
I mean, it's a high price point, and I suck at the first fight of the night, but it's a total leverage spot in that one. Gauthier also is another leverage spot opportunity. I think quick win finish bonus is sitting there. But look, it's when you're talking about rostering either one of those fighters, then you're talking about you got to be looking at value, and you're probably in that Alex range. I mean, Brahima, Sandhagen. I mean, you're gonna have to dumpster dive when you're taking those fighters. Best takedown upside is obviously Merab. I mean, come on, we all know that. But outside Merab, I would throw Austin Vanderford, Punahou Soriano, Patchy Mix.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Ranking the 9K option, we got a ton of 9K options here. I think you have to say Merab number 1 just because of if that thing goes 25 minutes and he's getting takedown after takedown, he's going to rack up. But he's got to be number 1 for me. Gauthier, I would go Gauthier 2, 3. I think you got to say Veronica Hardy just because of the matchup.
Yeah, that Walker's bad.
But you need to finish. You need to finish to pay off.
If she goes out there and she has a striking matchup, pitter patter, taekwondo fight, I'm cooked.
We're all puking bedside.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
I would go Vanderford.
I would agree with you, even though I am picking Brahima.
I would then go Mix, 𝗲𝗁, then 𝗲𝗲. I think would be the last one.
𝗲𝗲 is my least favorite one. He just is.
Yeah. No, Sammy, I'm not drunk this early. That's later on tonight. Even though I gotta be up early in the morning to get on that plane to Seattle. I mentioned I know there was an earlier question that was a 1v1 situation. Who's better in a decision loss, Emmett or Brahima? It's a good one.
I mean,
Emmett, I think
don't think Emmett has much of a shot. I just don't.
Yeah, you're just hoping
35%. I mean,
yeah. See if I don't know if did Sammy. Yeah, Sammy did put in his usual questions here. Best top plays. I mean, look, to me, it's got to start with Merab. It has to start there.
Merab plus Gauthier or Merab plus some other fighter you really like.
Yeah. Live dogs. You Roundtree. Alex. Missing anybody?
I mean, no.
Next up, best inside the distance fighters. I think you got to look at Gauthier. I think I look at Patchy Mix in that equation of inside the distance. Those would be my top ones.
For inside the distance?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of them that you could also see inside distance, but I think like my top 2 inside distance would be Gauthier and Mix.
That's a good call, actually. I like you too, and I know that he's an underdog, but still.
Yeah. Best decision odds fighters. When you look at if you look at low numbers, obviously Merab minus 180, I would not play that one. If I was going to play any decision props, I mentioned this at the beginning show, I'd throw a sprinkle in Alex at plus 1,200 to win via decision. That to me is that's a numbers play in terms of that. Zalal minus 155 would be one for me. Santos or Jason, either one of them winning by a decision. I think that would be one I'd throw in there. I mean, even though I might just play an inside distance bet on Veronica Hardy, she's minus 240 to win via decision.
So yes, she's minus 240 to win via decision, but she may not find a finish, but she may crush for DFS. You know what I mean? Like even though it's a decision, it may be literally 15 minutes of control time.
Samuel, appreciate your super chats. You also mentioned the highest leverage plays in each tier. In the 9K range, Hardy, Zalal, Basra, Gauthier. Any of them. They're all the leverage play in the 9K range. There's not really in the 8K range. It's Chaseon's going to be, but she's still getting a plus 20% ownership. In the 8K range, 𝗲𝗲, I think, is the leverage in that spot. And then in the 7K range, it's either Eminer or Gutierrez.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I'd rather bet on ping pong.
Top dart plays.
I think 𝗲𝗲, man.
I'm looking at it, and Alex will be the popular pump play at 7,300, but below him, I think it's 𝗲𝗲 or Muniz as the two darts.
I would agree because I think there's legitimate submission upside.
Yeah. Favorite parlays. So for me, and this may very well not go well for me, if I'm doing a 3-fighter parlay, I'm throwing 2 underdogs in there right from the start. Alex and Khalil. And then I think the third one I would probably throw in there is 𝗵𝗵 mix at minus 325.
I really like that, actually. I think that's pretty damn good.
Yeah. Top captain and MVP, man, it starts with Merab. I mean, then I think you're looking at on the DraftKings side of the equation, Soriano and Vanderford won't be in the captain contest most likely just because of there being the second and third fight. If you can get 𝗵𝗵, I think that one becomes interesting just because of the grappling upside you could have there. Maybe Farid Basharat.
Yeah, I mean, I think Basharat's another sneaky guy for takedowns too, but he's going to have the little Gutierrez just dancing around, so you just got to track him down.
Sam's road to the Manchester Series over under 7.5. I think that number's a little too high, Sam.
I think so too, buddy. I think that's
yeah.
If you think it's 7.5, then you need to be playing these inside the distance on a lot of these fights because what you highlighted 3 of them, 4 of them.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I would say this, just as me going down my spreadsheet here, because inside distance is one of the columns I have here on my spreadsheet. Looking at inside distance numbers that intrigue me, Merab plus 400, Farid Basharat plus 300.
Yep.
And Hardy plus 350.
Yeah.
Those to me, and then I mentioned about on the decision props, Alex at plus 1,200, Roundtree at plus 550, Yuri at plus 500. If you want to get to either one side of that one,
I like the decision props.
How about Pyfer plus 350 via decision?
I can see it. If you don't think it's decisions, you could always start playing these overs, just because a lot of them, 1.5 for some of the volatile fights, 2.5. I mean, it can save you.
And you know this, and sometimes there are going to be fighters who are going to chase that bonus, and they're going to take chances that they normally would not take. Yeah. And we'll see what happens there. Should be a great night of fights. Of course, the PFL fights are going on right now. I did mention, I think if you're looking to place a wager, I think Paul Hughes, and I'll look up my sports book. I want to say he was like plus 260 earlier on today when I was looking.
He's plus 260 right now.
That to me is an intriguing line. It's intriguing, even though like I think that at the end of the day that 𝗛𝗲𝘁𝘁 plus, well, so at Hard Rock he's plus 195, so clearly some money coming in on them. I think if you're looking for a safe play, Magomedov off at minus 275. If you're looking for a parlay piece, and just want to look, your favorite sport, BKFC's tomorrow night. Mike Perry minus 350 versus Jeremy Stephens.
Jesus, what are we doing?
And you got Carl Roberson's on the card.
I can't even. I can't, dude. I watched the highlights of the press conference and with McGregor all geeked out and.
Dude, okay. Did you see when they did the stare down between Perry and Stephens?
And he shoves Perry and then
he told the bell like, "Is this like pro wrestling? Are we doing a fatal three-way right here?"
I know, it's just three-way stare down.
Dude,
it's weird.
It is. Yeah. I will say this. I look, if you're looking for action, Mike Perry, Jeremy Stephens, gloves, no gloves, no way that fight sucks. No way.
I agree. And then like you have McGregor screaming at Perry saying, if you don't perform, you're cut. And then you just see Feldman just put his head down and just shake his head. He's like, dude, what am I dealing with? Oh, God.
That's one of those equations. You used to wonder if the UFC drug tester's like, need to get in New Jersey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
hey, Frankie Edgar's not fighting, obviously, right? He got pulled off.
Yeah, he got pulled. They're undisclosed reasons.
I'm happy he's not fighting.
When David Feldman did an interview, said there was additional testing going on. I talked about this yesterday on my podcast. Because I think we all saw that knockout that Vanderlei took after his boxing matchup.
Oh yeah.
And Matt Brown had a really thoughtful take about it. And I think you could probably relate to this is, even though there could be people in your circle or outside your circle that says you shouldn't fight anymore. But he's basically saying that there's a lot of guys that there is no other options. And this is all they can do to make money. And it says it does not matter what a coach, a family member, a friend, a training partner says to them, they're going to go fight. It's just, to me, it's what is sad about it is this is a fighter who in the antitrust lawsuit had declaration about having concerns about brain injuries and with where his brain's at. And there's people still letting him fight. You have promoters that are doing that. That to me is, it's a sad part of this sport. And when I saw that knockout, I was like, oh my God. I mean, he just fell and he didn't move. And I was like, just hope that maybe someone could talk sense in Vanderlei going, you can't do this anymore. You can't do this anymore.
Yeah, no. You got to protect fighters sometimes from themselves. And I never liked the idea of Frankie fighting in BKFC to begin with. I mean, the one thing that went was not his skills. It was his chin.
Oh, and look, and I remember.
It's a terrible, worst sport for him to be involved in.
And I remember he talked about this, that family and friends tried to convince him not to do this.
Yeah.
Which makes you wonder how much money did BKFC throw at him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because you're talking about a guy that shouldn't need money. He made it. He was. I don't think he needs money because he's a former champ. And
you would.
But if somebody's offering you $1 million, a million's a million, dude.
Hey, it's like the old professional wrestler Ted DiBiase. His line was, "Everyone's got a price."
Yeah, I mean, it's $1 million.
And unfortunately, in this, and you just know this in this world, man, when promoters throw a ton of money at you, and it sometimes it's tough to turn down, and we'll see if but the New Jersey Commission is a very strict commission when it comes to medicals. They are not. I'll use my home state as an example. They're not Florida. They're not Texas.
Yeah.
You know, they have their medicals are very serious. So, but yeah, I'll be out in Seattle. Be out there, get out there tomorrow. So it'll be nice to like UFC pay-per-view's over. It's only 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I wouldn't even know what to do with myself. Callan Lawford just lost on PFL.
Yeah, I saw that he was a plus 350 betting.
Short notice to Cartwright. Crazy.
Yeah. Cartwright's like I think Cartwright's plus 350 in that matchup.
Yeah, Cartwright's good, but damn, that's crazy.
It's nuts. I'll be interested. I don't know if the fight's happened yet. I'm interested to see how Archie Colgan did against JJ Wilson. That to me is,
it
really,
happened already.
Did he win? I'm guessing.
Colgan won.
Yeah, not surprised.
15-minute decision.
Yeah, not surprising. Especially it was JJ Wilson's first fight since breaking his jaw that forced him out of the tournament. So we'll see what happens there. But Pete, as always, man, great to sit here and talk a little MMA with you. You know,
nice talking to you, Jason, and thanks for tuning into the show, guys. Yeah, my dad's putting on a martial arts show this weekend, so it's been chaos as always. But looking forward to it. If you're in New England, Sunday, October 5th, in Cranston, Rhode Island, that's where we'll be. If you guys are a part of my Patreon, I will be posting the full Patreon either later tonight or early tomorrow morning. And as always, thank you guys for watching the show. If you can hit the like button, get us over 100 likes, give us a comment, join the Discord, and good luck tomorrow. Win some money.
And next week, we've got the UFC Rio card, which is going to be headlined by Charles Oliveira and Mateusz Gamrot. Of course, Gamrot replacing Rafael Fiziev, who once again has a knee injury that forced him out of that matchup. And Diego Lopez was actually one of the guys that was trying to get that fight. He was willing to go up to 55 for that matchup. So we'll be back here next week to break that one down for you. As always, we appreciate everyone who tunes in. We'll talk to you next week right here on the Fight HQ podcast.